are going to do a nice, deep, juicy hip opener practice. So release tension in the glutes, the outside of the hip, the piriformis, which is a muscle that runs right across the top of the glutes, or right here, below the glutes in the back. When those glute muscles and that piriformis get really tight, first of all, it's uncomfortable. It can make it hard to sleep. Your hips can ache at night. It can also cause sciatic pain. As the piriformis gets inflamed and irritated, it compresses the sciatic nerve and can cause pain down the back of the leg, maybe even all the way into the foot. So opening up those muscles, creating more space, more mobility in the hips. So we're going to go ahead and start today on your back. So come all the way down. Let the feet go wide, knees knock in, maybe tee the arms or cactus the arms. Just making sure the wrists are soft. And just taking a moment to tune into your breath. Maybe gently close the eyes. Whatever it took to get to your mat, you made it. So just commit these next few minutes to your practice and your body, to tuning into your breath. Inhale, belly rises. Exhale, belly falls. In and out. And out. Taking a few more deep breaths. And when you're ready, start to slowly windshield wiper the knees, dropping the knees to the left and to the right. There's no hurry, you're just gently tick-tocking, maybe noticing any tension in the hips, the low back. It's nice and easy. If you'd like, you can kind of reach the hands overhead and add a little bit of a side stretch. Come back to center, walk the feet so they're hip distance apart. Cross the right ankle to the top of the left thigh. Reach through, take hold of your left thigh so your right hand goes between the legs. Flex both feet. A lot of different movements going on here. You're going to gently draw your right knee in towards, or your left knee rather, in towards your body. Your right knee is going towards the foot of your mat. So maybe using your right elbow on your thigh. And the tailbone is curling down towards the mat, so sort of unfurling towards the floor. So just tuning into all that different movement in the body. Gently easing the left knee in with each exhale. And then keeping the same shape in the legs, release the thigh, drop to your left side. So your right foot comes towards the mat. Now let your right knee melt towards the tail, or towards the foot of your mat. So it's opening out. If you have a lot of mobility in your back and your hips, you may want to hop your hips to the right just a little bit before you come down. So your choice. Letting the right knee gently melt away from you with each exhale. Inhale back up to center. If your hips are off center, come back and release. Maybe take a couple of windshield wipers. Just loosen everything up. Come back to center, cross the left ankle to the top of the right thigh. Reach through, take hold of the right thigh with both hands, flex both feet. Gently drawing the right knee in towards the chest. Left knee is going towards the foot of your mat. Maybe use your elbow to open the hip up. Tailbone is unfurling towards the mat. Each exhale coming a little bit deeper, drawing the right knee in towards the body. Release the leg, keep that same shape, drop to the right. Let the left knee melt away from your body towards the foot of your mat. Again, option to hop the hips a little bit to the left before you come down if you have a lot of mobility in your low back and hips. Inhale back up to center, release both feet to the mat. Take a couple of windshield wipers. And then tuck both knees to the chest, give yourself a big hug, maybe rock side to side a little. And then forward and back, until you come all the way up. I like to cross my ankles to pass through. However you'd like to get there, coming to a tabletop position. So finding your cat-cow breath, inhale, head lifts, belly falls towards the floor. Exhale, tuck your chin round the spine. In and out. Just letting that breath roll up and down your spine. Back to neutral. Lift your left foot straight up towards the ceiling so the left knee is bent. And then take some big circles in the left hip. So no hurry, just finding lots of mobility, lots of movement, and then start to circle the other direction. The next time around, cross your left leg over your right, like your legs are crossed on a chair. And the feet are kind of at a V shape. And start to push back. Some people like to sit all the way down between their heels. I find I get a deeper stretch if I only come part way down. And just breathe into the hip space. You can play with moving the hands a little bit, side to side, find your sweet spot. Unwind, come back to your tabletop position, lift your right foot straight up to the ceiling, big circles in the right knee. Just loosening up the joint, circle the other direction. And then cross your right leg over your left. Feet are making kind of a V shape. Start to push back. And again, option to kind of move your hands side to side. Really letting the knees be heavy, let the hips be heavy. You may find one side of the body is tighter than the other. That's super normal. Unwind, come back to your tabletop. Take a couple of cat-cow breaths. across your ankles, sit all the way back. Bring your legs out in front of you. You can stay right on your mat. I'm going to rotate towards the camera. So both legs straight and long in front of you. Draw your left leg in and then cross the left ankle to the top of the right thigh. Or you can take hold of the shin, or you can bring one foot to the crook of your elbow, your knee to the crook of the other elbow. So the key here is to keep your back as long as possible. So if you're really rounded in the back and you don't feel anything in the hips, you'll feel it all in the back, then you want to come up longer in the spine, let the leg come down lower. If with the leg down low you still can't straighten the spine, go ahead and take a blanket and set it underneath your hips or a bolster to lift yourself up and allow your spine to be straight and long. So choosing the position that works best for you, and then you're just going to gently rock it out. Another option in this position is to keep your spine really long. Bring your left hand behind you. Start to rock back onto the left hip. Sometimes there'll be a really nice knot in your glute here. Feel kind of like you're laying on a tennis ball. If you find a really tight spot like that, just go ahead and stay right in that spot. Breathe deeply. Let the muscles start to release. You're doing your own trigger muscle release work. Come back up to center. Release the foot over your extended leg. Take hold of your knee. Drop long in the spine. Left hand behind you. Inhale the right hand up. Exhale, twist. Inhale, grow tall. Exhale, twist. And unwind, come back to center. Couple of options here. You can bring your ankle to the top of your thigh and fold forward right here. Again, wanting to keep the spine nice and long. Or you can fold the bottom leg. So my right leg folds underneath, stacking my ankles and my knees. So be really aware we don't want this top foot sickled inside of the knee. The ankle bone sits on top of the knee joint. If this is uncomfortable for you in the hips, you can take a block, set it underneath your knee to give you a little more height. So come up nice and tall in the spine, nice long back, and then you're going to reach over to the left side, and we're just going to draw an arch. So walk the hands across, nice and slow, working all the way across the glute muscle. Up to center. If you'd like, you can keep the legs right where they're at, either with the bottom leg straight or stacked, and just fold straight forward. If you'd like, you can start to cross the knees a little bit deeper. So maybe coming to here, or stack the knees all the way across. Spine is really long. Lead with the heart, start to fold over the legs. Now for some of you, you'll be able to just kind of collapse over the legs, and that's fine. But for me, I find I get a deeper stretch if I actually don't cross the knees all the way, keep my spine really long, and just come part way down. That's kind of my sweet spot, even though I could collapse over the legs. So choosing the position that's best for you and your body, and being patient. Hips are not created the same in every person, so just being understanding of where your body's ready to go today. And inhale back up, straighten both legs and give them a little shake. Draw the right leg in, come up nice and tall on the spine. Right ankle can rest on the thigh. You can take hold with both hands on the shin, or you can come to the crooks of the elbows. Again, the key is to keep your back long. Option to sit on a blanket or a bolster if that helps you to lengthen in the spine. And then just gently rock it out. Nice and easy. If you'd like, taking that variation with the right hand or elbow behind you, rocking back onto the hip, maybe shift around, See if there's a tight spot in the glute or the piriformis. Just breathing into it. Come back up to center, cross your right leg over the left, drop tall in the spine, bring the right hand behind you, inhale the left hand up, exhale twist. Inhale, grow tall, exhale twist. And gently unwind, take a little counter twist. Come back to center, so you can stay right here. The left leg extended straight, or you can bend the left leg, stacking ankle bones and knees. Again, option to use a block underneath your right knee if you'd like. Drop nice and tall in the spine, reach out to the right side, and then very slowly working your way across in an arch. The glute's kind of a fan-shaped muscle, so we're working across that glute muscle as we move. Make sure the feet are flexed. And come back up to center. You can stay right here, or if you'd like, start to cross the knees. Drop long in the spine. Heart goes forward first. Back is long. Folding in the hips. So it's really normal for us to store emotional energy or tension in the glutes and the hips. So as we're practicing, if you start to feel some emotions kind of bubbling up to the surface, that's okay. Just the body kind of releasing, letting go. So just acknowledge whatever comes up. Just breathe through it. Allow the body to talk to you and respect what it's trying to say. Inhale all the way back up to straight. Swing the legs back around behind you. Find your tabletop position. Maybe shift side to side or forward and back. Maybe take some circles. Just loosen the hips up. Whatever kind of movement feels good to you here. And then when you're ready, tuck the toes under, lift the hips high, downward facing dog. Just gently pedal the feet out, bend one knee and then the other. And then step the left leg forward, so your left knee comes behind your left wrist, coming into pigeon. So really important here that the hip bones are both pointing straight forward. There's a tendency to want to drop to one side. If this is a hard position for you, you can take a block, place it underneath your right hip to keep the hips square. So both hip bones pointing straight towards the top of your mat. Inhale, lift the heart. And exhale, fold over the front of your leg. So the key here is to find the right position in the left shin. So the closer the left foot is underneath you, the easier this pose will be. The closer to the top of the mat your left shin is, the deeper the stretch will be. So finding your spot and folding over your leg. See if you can find a place for the forehead to rest. So it can rest on the mat, or your stacked fist, or a block. So whatever works for you in your practice, just being mindful, looking for the edge of the stretch in your hip, but not pushing to the point of pain. And just breathe. Come back up onto your hands. Step your left leg back. Maybe give it a little shake. Find your down dog. Step the right knee forward behind the right wrist. Again, you can choose the shin, how close it is to the top of your mat or how far tucked underneath you it is. You can also use a block under the left hip so the hips are squared straight forward. Inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, fold. Find a place for the forehead to rest. And then just notice. Notice if anything comes up. Just acknowledge it. Acknowledge the thoughts, the feelings. Breathe into it. Back up onto your hands, step your right leg back, give it a little shake. Tuck both toes under, lift the hips, downward facing dog. Then just walk both feet forward and come all the way down onto your back. Let your pinky toes go wide as the mat. Gently tick-tock the knees side to side. Just notice any difference in the body now, at the end of our practice. And then when you're ready, making your way into your final resting pose, you can come back to this restorative rest position. Just let the knees knock in towards each other. Or you can let the legs go straight, more traditional Shavasana. Palms to the ceiling, shoulders rolled under. You gently close the eyes. Tune into your breath. In and out. In and out. Each exhale, feel the body grow a little bit heavier. Feel the body soften, release. And just breathe. Slowly start to deepen your breath. Maybe gently move or stretch like you're waking up in the morning. As you're ready, make your way onto one side. Use your hands to push yourself up to seated. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. From the light in me to the light in you. Namaste.